financial advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
Good evening, Hampton Roads, and welcome to another edition of Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm your host, certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, coming to you live like I do every second and fourth Tuesday of the month to dialogue with you, take your calls. If you have a question or comment relating to your own personal financial situation or anything I'm talking about tonight, jump on the phone lines. Give me a call, 627-7979. All we need is your first name, city you're calling from, and no matter what I'm talking about, if it's important to you, then it's important to me. We'll get you right on air. 627-7979. Wealthway Financial Advisors is the proud sponsor of Dollars and Common Sense. We are an independent registered investment advisor, which means we're legally held to a fiduciary standard to put our clients' interest ahead of our own in any business dealing or recommendation that we make, and that's the way it should be when you work with a financial advisor. As the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. So by design, we can't work with everyone. We work with a relatively small group of high net worth individuals. But that's one of the reasons we feel so strongly about coming here every second and fourth Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's to reach out and help as many people in the Hampton Roads listening area that we can achieve your measure of financial success, because it is a core belief at Wealthway Advisors that the overwhelming majority of people in this country have the opportunity for financial security if they choose it. And it is a choice because it takes some time, it takes some effort, and it takes some knowledge. We are here to help. You got to take that first step, though. Pick up the phone. Give me a call, 627-7979. Whether you want to talk about anything to do with the highly volatile investment markets as of late, the economy, insurance products like life insurance, health insurance, property casualty, taxes, tax planning, tax reduction strategies, retirement planning, retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, IRAs, Roth IRAs. How about mortgage options, Social Security claiming strategies, or estate planning, wills and trusts? All that and more falls under the umbrella of personal finance. We are here to discuss tonight. 627-7979. All right, tonight I'm going to go back to a topic I tried a few shows ago, but I didn't get through much of it because we had plenty of listeners' calls, and I continue to encourage those. I would love a whole show full of listeners' calls. I think it makes it more interesting, more relevant, more topical. But until then, we will persevere with our topic on marriage and money and creating a harmonious blend between the two, which is not so easy to do. It's often cited, financial strains, financial differences are often cited as one of the main reasons for divorce. When it comes to marriages and money, finances are a real hot button issue, and that's because there's a lot of emotion tied to money, and there's a lot of unspoken expectations tied to money. And if you are not philosophically aligned with your partner, or you do not have good communication channels with your partner, then conflict can start to result. So hopefully I will give listeners tonight some ideas, some tips, some strategies to think about to bring you closer together and make sure you build a good financial foundation so you're both rowing in the same direction. So some tips here for people who are contemplating marriages, how to get started, get off on the right foot. People who are newly married, and even those who have been married for decades. And if you're feeling like this is somewhat of a pain point, then hopefully I got a few suggestions for you to help you right the ship. So first off, when you're combining finances prior to marriage, there's some things you can do to help lay the groundwork for success. So first is try to get on the same page on the big picture, aligning financial values. So understanding each other's attitudes towards spending and savings. So one partner might have might value budgeting and frugality, while the other prefers a more freewheeling approach. Aligning your financial philosophies can prevent conflicts down the road, right? This is actually very common that in most couple relationships, one person is the saver and the other person is the spender. One person doesn't want anything to do with the family finances. Just tell me how much I can spend each week. That's all I need to know. And the other person is deeply involved in record keeping, balancing the checkbook, maybe using financial software to track expenses, handles the investments. So having different skill sets within a partnership is perfectly reasonable and perfectly understandable. But making sure that you are aligned from a values and philosophy standpoint is one of the best ways to ensure that all the details then come together a lot more smoothly. And I would say that the best structure. All right. So how do we lay that foundation? All right. Especially when we're just getting started. How do you even arrange your personal finances? How do you set up the bank accounts? So there are a couple options for that. Should you fully merge all your finances, all the deposits into one bank account and have all the bills paid out of one bank account? Should you keep them totally separate, his and hers? Your money is his money is his money, her money is her money, and then you work out you negotiate some sort of settlement between who's paying what bills. Or use a hybrid approach. So this is the one that we favor in our practice and we recommend to our clients. So this is sort of his bank account, her bank account, and our bank account, joint bank account. So 3 different bank accounts. The reason for the 3 different bank accounts is to ensure that all the communal bills get paid appropriately and on time, yet it allows for some spending flexibility between the 2 partners. So how this would work is if it's a 2-income household, then all the paychecks get deposited into the joint bank account. And all bills common to the household, the rent, the mortgage, the car payment, insurance, groceries, all that sort of stuff gets paid for out of the joint account. But you each give yourselves a little allowance money out of that joint account into your own individual personal bank account that you own exclusively, his account, her account. So I don't know, $100 a paycheck or something like that goes from the joint account. And this is easy to set up nowadays with electronic transfers. $100 a paycheck or something like that goes from the joint bank account into his bank account, and $100 goes into her bank account. And that is each person's money to do with as they choose without having to clear it through their spouse. So if she likes to spend money on purses and shoes and, I don't know, trinkets for her friends because it makes her happy, good. That's good. She should do that. It comes out of her bank account. And if he likes to spend it on suits and cigars. Yeah, that's my favorite. That's what applies to me. Cigars, bourbon, high-end bourbon. That your wife might not share in those pursuits. Well, that comes out of his, right? And he doesn't. But the point is that you get to buy whatever is important to you with that money without shame, judgment, ridicule, blame, because each has their own little pool of money in which to buy themselves the things that make them happy. While at the same time, because all the income that comes into the house goes into that joint bank account, then all the bills get taken care of as well. And we feel that arrangement is what creates the best foundation for marital harmony, because everyone kind of gets a little bit of what they want. And then also for people, newlyweds, another thing that has to be kind of worked out either in advance or early on is, what about debts? What about people who are coming into the marriage with debt, especially if it's like student loan debt and somebody has maybe tens of thousands of student loan debt and the other partner has no student loan debt. So these are things that you want to be, number one, you want to be completely transparent with your spouse, right? Every good relationship starts with trust. And so trust, honesty, and transparency have to be foundational to a healthy financial arrangement. So you got to be honest about all the debts that you have. If you have credit card debt, fess up. We can't solve a problem if we don't know the true facts. Credit card debt, car loans, if you have any outstanding judgments, liens, marks on your credit, let's talk about it. Let's open up about it. Let's figure out how we can fix this problem and move forward together. So debt transparency begins with being honest about it, and then discuss how those debts will be handled as a team. So will the high earner contribute more to those debts? Or will the person who brought the debts to the relationship be exclusively responsible for paying off those debts? Or will both parties just assume each other's debts into the marriage and you'll work on them together? Generally speaking, that's the approach that I prefer, especially if you are honest about it before you get married. That's the best time. After you get married, those surprises aren't as welcome. So if everybody is honest about it before the marriage and then they come into it with eyes wide open, then you can develop a fair plan on how to pay those off. And generally speaking, this goes back to the bank accounts again. If all the income goes into the joint bank account, then all those debts get paid out of the joint bank account. All right, I'm going to pause right here, take a short break. If you want to jump in on the conversation or you have questions or comments with anything having to do with your personal financial situation, give me a call, studio line 627-7979. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Financial advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, check us out online at wealthwayadvisors.com. All right, tonight we're talking about marriage and money, how to create harmony out of a subject that historically has created discord. So started out the show by talking about how to combine finances appropriately to get off on a good start. Generally prefer the 3 bank account method: his bank account, her bank account, and our bank account. Most of all the funds go into that joint bank account. Then we funnel a little bit out to the individual accounts, and that's for each party to use that money however they see fit, however it makes them happy, without complaint or judgment. So how about let's get into some income and budgeting type of solutions here. So there's a question sometimes about balancing incomes. If one partner earns significantly more than the other, then how will expenses be shared? Will the higher earner cover a larger percentage of the household costs? Or will you contribute equally to the expenses regardless of how much income you bring into the household? Well, I think this also kind of gets covered with the 3 bank account solutions that we prefer at Wealthway, and that is all household income goes into the joint bank account. All communal household bills are paid out of the joint bank account. So doesn't matter who makes more, how much more the other person makes than the other party. You're in this together. Your partnership. All the money goes in one pot. All the bills get paid out of it, regardless of income disparities. All right, so how about creating a unified budget if you're going to even attempt a budget at all, which most people don't. But that's okay. There's ways around that. And there's things you can do to sort of help yourself keep your spending controlled. But ideally, if you did develop a joint budget that covers all the necessities like the rent, the mortgage, utilities, groceries, then you could set spending limits for discretionary expenses, such as dining out, entertainment, or personal hobbies. So, we are only going to spend $200 a month eating out. All right, the rest we're going to eat in. We're going to groceries. $200 a month is what we allow for dining out, and then maybe $250 for entertainment options like going to the Admirals or the Tides and movies and Top Golf and things like that. And then personal hobbies. How much, if you have gardening or crocheting. Actually, we have a fair number of clients who crochet, so I should chuckle at that. But budgeting tools and apps can help you track spending and stay on the same page so that the whole point of this is even if you're not going to stick to a budget as a couple, you at least you can find out where the budget is getting violated and why. And again, it's all about honesty and transparency. You can't solve a problem if you don't know the facts about it. You don't know it exists. So it doesn't do anyone any good to try to hide money or hide spending, which occasionally happens among spouses. So by having a known sort of global budget and then tracking them with tools, which has become much easier nowadays with the advent of technology and apps on phones. So those apps can help you track spending and stay on the same page, to keep you aligned with the budget. So it's just some names to throw out there that you can use: Quick and Simplify, Rocket Money. There's something called YNAB, which I think stands for You Need a Budget, YNAB. Empower, NerdWallet, Mint. Those are some of the most popular ones. So being upfront about how much we're going to spend on certain big ticket items, that way no one is surprised by unexpected expenses. Then absolutely foundational to a good financial arrangement and financial marriage is to establish a joint emergency fund. Emergency fund with at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And this safety net provides security against job loss, unexpected medical bills, or other financial surprises. We talk about emergency funds on this show all the time because they are foundational to a good successful financial plan. So that's money tucked away in a bank account. Nowadays, it's not earning much of any interest. That's okay. That's not the purpose. You do not want it. You do not want it. Your emergency fund is not your checking account. Okay, this needs to be a separate savings account, money market account, super savers account, whatever the banks call them, but not your checking account. The checking account is transactional. The emergency fund needs to be set aside in a separate bank account. It almost is a good idea to have the emergency fund at a different bank than where you do your transactional banking. Maybe it's an online bank that you can access with an app. So just having that psychological barrier between you and that money helps ensure that you keep the emergency fund used exclusively for emergency purposes. It is not for vacations. It's not for an emergency purchase of furniture. That's rarely an emergency. It's for life's true financial calamities. All right. I'll be getting into taxes. I'll get into some insurance and benefits a little bit. And then we'll talk about long-term goals as well that are common in households, about things you can do to align your financial goals, your financial values. If you aren't on the same page with some of these, that's okay. That's common. That's natural, normal. That's what talking is about, and expressing your viewpoint and having it heard by the other party appropriately, and working through those details and then getting yourself both back on the same page. I'm going to pause right here for the news. Back in just a couple minutes. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, you can look us up online at wealthwayadvisors.com. Once there, you can request an information packet to find out what it's like to work with us, or sign up for a free quarterly newsletter at wealthwayadvisors.com. Just go to the Request a Consultation page, put your name and address in the dialog boxes there, select the appropriate drop-down menu, and we'll get that information out to you later on this week. And that's all we will use your name and address for, is just to send you the information that you request. Or if you have some additional questions, want to speak to a live human being, give us a call at the office, 456-2200. Want to remind everybody, our next live show will be in 3 weeks now, on Tuesday, May 13th, just due to the way the calendar falls instead of the normal 2 weeks. So Tuesday, May 13th. But if you can't catch us live every second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m., get this show as a podcast. Search for Dollars and Common Sense wherever you get your podcasts. Download us, take us with you where you go, and listen at your convenience. And for those of you into social media, we have a presence on Facebook and LinkedIn. Search for Wealthway Financial Advisors, hit that like or follow button, and then about once every week or two, we put up an interesting and informative financial planning post to keep you engaged in the process. All right, tonight we're talking about marriage and money, how to create harmony in both of those areas. I'm really stretching myself here. So last week I talked about the markets, investing, the current volatility that's going on in the U.S. stock market. I said at the onset of that show, I'll say it again, we judiciously talk about market activity, especially short-term market activity, because we don't believe it deserves being reacted to with every blip of the stock market. And it's by nature, investing is a long-term pursuit, and these things are going to happen. The U.S. stock market, as measured by the S&P 500 index, so far, due to the recent addition of tariffs out of Washington, D.C., has seen a decline of 19%. An official bear market is considered a decline from peak to trough of 20%. So we didn't quite get there yet, anyway. But the point is that a bear market, or 20% decline in U.S. stock market indexes of 20% or greater, should be expected. It happens on average about every 6 or 7 years. It's a normal and natural function of the investing process. And so that should be factored into your decision making when you decide to invest, how you decide to invest, and how you manage your investments to enhance your lifestyle going forward. So I just throw that out there because if anyone wants to talk about that, they can call in anytime. I'd be happy to entertain those calls. But barring that, we probably won't talk about the subject again for at least another 6 months. But if you want to hear what I had to say about that, you can always get the podcast, Dollars and Common Sense, wherever you get your podcasts, or at our website. We also put up the radio show on our website, usually about a week after it airs live. And our marketing company then, in addition to the audio version on the website, our marketing company does a brief written summary of the topic area there, and you can skim that if that's important to you. You can find that at wealthwayadvisors.com. All right, back to marriage and money. Let's go through some of the changes that are going to happen with your taxes and some of the decisions you have to make. So choosing a filing status. Marriage brings options for tax filing, jointly or separately. Filing jointly often leads to tax benefits, such as a lower tax rate or higher deductions. But in some cases, filing separately may be better if one partner has significant medical expenses or other deductible costs. This is a real niche area. I would say overwhelmingly, most people are going to be better off filing jointly, but there can be a few unique circumstances that do allow for a lower overall tax bill by filing separately. I won't go into it any further than that. Make sure you consult your tax advisor for the proper filing status. Know that most people, though, will be better off just filing jointly. But along with filing jointly comes a combination of incomes, a combining of incomes. So that means for people who were filing single will now be filing jointly. For most of those people, there's going to be a marriage tax penalty or an increase in the tax bill that you will pay together than you would have paid separately. So depending on income levels, marriage can result in a slight tax penalty, that is, higher taxes due to the combined income. Occasionally, rarely, it can be a tax bonus, lower taxes due to favorable brackets, but that's, again, an anomaly like filing separately. The marriage tax penalty is an additional tax certain couples face when they file jointly. The tax is dependent on each spouse's income and ranges from 4% for couples without dependents and up to 12% for couples with dependents. And the tax penalty goes into effect when couples incur a higher tax rate than they would have if they filed separately or stayed single. And this penalty usually kicks in when one spouse makes significantly more than the other, or if both spouses are high earners. So I don't know if this is so much news here. It's kind of known a fair amount, or at least you know it after you file your first tax return. That's for sure. But that's no reason not to get married. I will say that. Like we always say at Wealthway, don't let the tax tail wag the dog. Right? Taxes are unfortunately a necessary expense of doing business, of earning income, of growing wealth. So don't let the taxes stand in your way. Just try to minimize them whenever possible and prudent. Another thing you'd like to do when you get married, adjust your withholding. So update your W-4 form after marriage to ensure the right amount of taxes are withheld from your paycheck. And this can prevent a surprise at tax time. So like I was saying, if your combined income is going to cause you to pay a little bit more tax, then it might be prudent to go to HR, get one of those W-4 forms, increase your withholding that you have come out of every paycheck so that when it comes time to file the taxes, you've paid them throughout the course of the year and you don't get a big tax bill at the end of the year. You might even get a little refund. And I guess one more comment on that. I know people love to get tax refunds. Who doesn't love to get money back get money from the government. Well, just know that, a refund is your money in return for the money you paid the government throughout the course of the year. So a refund just means you gave the government more money over the course of the year than you needed to, and now you're getting your money back without interest, by the way. Now, I don't think we need to make a big deal about this. There's some people who take the other approach, like, well, I want to write a big check at the end of the year for my taxes. That meant I held on to my money throughout the entire year, and I gave it to the government at the very last minute. Okay, I got no problems with that theoretically. And when interest rates were higher and you could make, 5 or 6% on bank money, then yeah, it's a good idea to keep that money sitting in your bank account earning interest instead of given to the government interest free. But now, with interest rates, still in basic savings and checkings, we're not seeing much out of 1%. If you keep the money in a higher earning type of bank account, like a money market or a super saver, or you have a short-term CD, 6 or 12 months, you might be able to get 3 or 4%. That's not too bad. If you don't mind going through the extra work to do that, then that can make some sense as well. All right, another thing to consider when you get married to get you on the right path, insurance and benefits, right? So health insurance, compare both partners' health insurance policies to see which offers better coverage and cost effectiveness. Many employers allow changes to benefits outside of open enrollment due to qualifying life events like marriage. So the year you get married, oftentimes you have the opportunity to go to, if you're a two-income household, go to one of the partner's employers and put both of you on that person's health insurance plan. And it is usually more cost effective to do that way. Instead of carrying insurance policies separately and you both paying individual premiums, partnering up on one person's health insurance plan and maybe paying the couple's rate or the employee plus spouse or the family plan gets sort of like a bulk buying discount and can be a little bit more cost effective. Keep in mind to compare the benefits that you get for the cost, though. Those are integral in ensuring that when you actually need the insurance, it's there for you, and it's worth what you're paying for it. Life insurance, consider purchasing or updating life insurance policies to provide for your spouse in case of unexpected events. And the amount of coverage should account for debts, living expenses, and future goals like children's education. So most people get some life insurance coverage through their benefits plan at work. Typically, we see about $50,000 per person. Usually doesn't cost anything either, so it's free. Check the box. Go ahead and get it. Make sure you list your spouse as the beneficiary on the life insurance. Then sometimes some employer plans allow the employees to purchase more life insurance if they want it, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, and that can also be a cost-effective way of getting life insurance when you're young, starting out, spouse that you have to care for, kids that might come into the picture. You need to have life insurance in case your life is cut short, your income ceases. Those other people who are dependent on you will need money from some other source to replace the income that is lost with your premature death. So that's where life insurance comes into play. However, keep in mind, employer-provided life insurance is only good and in effect while you're at that employer. And if you leave that employer, your life insurance ends. And unless you go to another employer that offers a similar type of benefit, you no longer have life insurance coverage. So it is usually a good idea to get an independent life insurance policy that is not dependent on your employers providing it. Go directly to insurance companies, insurance brokers to help you get that coverage. And overwhelmingly, from a financial planning standpoint, we prefer term insurance instead of whole life. The life insurance industry loves to sell you whole life insurance because they make a lot more commission off of whole life, but you get less coverage for more money than you do with term insurance. And if you do your financial planning properly over time, then the need for life insurance eventually subsides and can be eliminated. Hence, the need to have it for a certain term of time, not your whole life. And I won't go into any more about life insurance around that, other than say it is important to make sure, especially when you have a new marriage and kids on the way. All right, going to pause right here for a last break. We're going to be right back after these messages. You're listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.
Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life. Wealthway Financial Advisors, planning for life.
And welcome back to Dollars and Common Sense, your local source for objective, unbiased financial advice. I'm certified financial planner Kevin Zivna, the president of Wealthway Financial Advisors, the premier financial planning firm in Hampton Roads, where we integrate expert investment management with customized ongoing financial planning advice to help our clients answer life's big financial questions and enhance their quality of life. For more information about us, check us out online at wealthwayadvisors.com. All right, before we jump into our final segment on marriage and money, creating harmony, we got a caller on the line. We're going to go up to Hampton and speak to Craig. Good evening, Craig. You're on Dollars and Common Sense. Hello, Craig.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're on Dollars and Common Sense.
Okay, real quick. I have a 401k at work, and right now it's like 50 stocks and bonds. And I read that supposedly on May 21st, technology stocks are supposed to take a big hit, and that company execs have been selling off their technology stocks recently. And I was curious if you've heard that. And again,
why, Craig, would they take the big hit? What did the article say?
Well, it didn't totally say, actually. I read this kind of like on some of these, like Banyan Hill, for instance. Some of these other folks you might see, on your cell phone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, my question was, if potentially that's going to happen, should I go to maybe more of a cash stance with the 401k?
All right. Well, I have heard nothing specific about tech stocks taking a big hit on May 21st. I think there's a ton of sketchy news sources out there that sort of send out a steady barrage of these, sort of fanciful types of claims, whether the market's going to go up a huge amount or down a huge amount. And it's kind of like, a million monkeys pounding on a keyboard. One of them types out a Shakespearean play. One of those fanciful claims will turn out to be correct, and then whatever that news source is that put it out there, they're going to claim to have some sort of omniscient power to predict the market. So I just discount all of that as noise in the system, and I would not pay any significant attention to it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll take that as an answer, and thank you for your time.
Okay, Craig, thanks for the call. Yeah, so I would not recommend that you go to cash in your 401k plan to try to avoid something like that. It's very speculative. It's even if it were based in some sort of reality, the market participants would most likely know well in advance that it was coming, and the market participants would not wait until May 21st to react. They would be reacting before that. to get ahead of whatever the movement would be. So I just would not put a lot of credence in that type of news source. Okay, so let's finish up here with how to create harmony, marriage, and money. I got a few minutes left. There's a couple other topics I want to hit. Long-term goals, retirement planning. Make sure you align your retirement goals and investment strategies. Decide whether to contribute to each other's retirement accounts or focus solely on individual accounts like IRAs. Consider opening a spousal IRA if one partner isn't working. A lot of people don't realize that you can open a spousal IRA without, so the non-working spouse can open an IRA and you can make contributions to that, which you normally can't do without earned income. But if you have one spouse who works and the other one who does not or is not covered by a retirement plan, then you can open up a spousal IRA and make deductible IRA contributions up to $7,000 this year or $8,000 if you're age 50 or older, if your income is below $236,000, adjusted gross income. So that's a neat little savings tool that a lot of people don't know about. Make sure you're aligned on savings for big milestones. Try to align plans for major life goals, such as buying a home, starting a family, or traveling extensively. Determine how much you'll need to save and create a timeline to reach those goals. Obviously, you want to make those goals together. Talk about each of your needs and wants and timelines and the level of priority that you assign to those big milestones. I remember when I first got married, my wife was very intent on us buying a home. Kevin was very content renting a beach house in Chicks Beach. And I'd probably still be there today if my wife didn't force me to buy a house. So eventually I got aligned on her timetable. I will tell you that. Investment strategy, discuss your risk tolerance, preferences for investing. Do you both lean towards conservative investments? One partner is more willing to take risks. Considering hiring a financial advisor to help develop a joint investment plan who can mediate differences and find compromise. Yes, we are often called upon by our clients to do some light marriage counseling, to be an objective third party who has both parties' interests at heart and seeks to find compromise solutions whenever there is disagreement or conflict. All right, that's about all the time I have for tonight. Going to be back in 3 weeks now, just due to the way the calendar falls, on Tuesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. as usual. But if you can't catch us live, get that podcast, Dollars and Common Sense, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Certified Financial Planner Kevin Zivna. You've been listening to Dollars and Common Sense on News Talk 790 WNIS.